All right, welcome back to another Japan Book Hunter. And today, my fine friends, my brother from another mother, Bryan Moss, he's been over here in Japan with a crew of other homies. You know, Dave from West Coast Avengers, Alika was over here from Maui Comics, we had Scheme over here, DJing. It's been a great time, and you can check out some of our paper gold, my friends.
All right, Brian, we went on a little haul. We went over to Jimbocho, got some books, of course.
It was amazing. It was such a great vibe. We had such a good time.
Dude, this Manga Quest 2024, I mean, it's between you and I and Dave and Scheme and the ill strips. Jordan is here.
Yeah.
And Aki and just everyone and myself as well.
Yep.
And
it's been beautiful.
It.
Dude, I know. I posted the other day a picture of my suitcase and it was just one of them and everybody freaked out. And I'm like, that's just one of 4, baby.
Dude, I freaked out. I was looking at books. I was zooming in on Instagram and I'm like, he got that. Damn him.
Right. I've always had the audience always remember I have to like respect the turf because Sean's our go-to. So I always try to be like, okay, let me like not step on Sean's toes. But you know, sometimes you gotta go for it.
Dude, there's plenty out here for everyone. Like when Scheme and I were out hunting, there was like 2 books that we ran into and he's like, oh, I've been looking for that. I'm like, it's yours.
Dude, yeah.
I'll find it again. I live here, you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the beauty of it. And like Sean, I just want to thank you on camera because everything you do for the community and taking us around, like, you know.
Thank you, brother.
Dude, of course, bro.
This is the way. But first of all, what did you get? We just pulled about 5 books out that we got on our last haul, and you got this one, the Ishi no Mori Shotaro.
Yeah, this was exciting to find. We were in, what shop was that, Sean, that we were in?
I believe that we were in Yume no Shoten. We were in Jimbocho.
Right.
In Jimbocho, there's about 4 popular manga shops, and out of those 4, I can imagine this being in Yume no Shoten.
Yeah.
And also, I saw the price tag earlier, and it looks like their price tag.
Yeah. And so I was walking through, I did the rounds like 3 or 4 times, and I look up and I saw it, I was like, hey, Sean, should I get this? You were like, grab that now.
Yeah.
So,
and I'd actually just sold I had 1 and 2, so this is number 2 in the series. It's all the girls from the many series that Ishinomori Shotaro did. So it's called Girls Second. It's his second installment of these. And he also did one called Showgirls, which I have, which is a combination of both.
Right.
But you get this one in the oversized hardcover, which is amazing. And you just get so much color.
Yeah, the saturation and the printing is so consistent and beautiful. This book is definitely a nice a piece to have in the archive. Was this from an exhibition, Sean, or what was this, or was this just published?
I think that they did an exhibition for the release of the first one, and then this, because I've seen, as we saw earlier, there's some exhibition information here in the back.
Yeah.
Kamen Rider exhibition. Supergirls. This was a box set that he put out, and then we also have this this beautiful little pamphlet flyer poster from the exhibition. So I believe that the first one was for an exhibition and the second one was a follow-up, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
all good.
He's done so much stuff.
Prolific,
you know, from the Kashihon rental manga age to now. Not now, but till most recently in the 2000s. And you know, that's 50 years of manga making.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where just from studying and practicing during my time here, I realized that to be able to get to this level and make this work is totally accessible. So it is overwhelming to see how much work he has made, but it definitely makes a lot more sense now to me.
And you see things like, so these 60s and 70s style girls, they're pretty simple, but you look at the perspective in the background.
Right, exactly, yeah.
The man could draw.
You're right, exactly, yeah. If you think he's a slouch somewhere, you're sadly mistaken. He's just expressive.
And I love these, like the kind of like rough sketches.
Yeah, it gives you more of a study.
Yeah, more like exactly. Like a color pencil study.
Yeah, a lot of it's exploration of material because you can see he's applying those pencils to the watercolor stuff in the back, so getting that nice contrast.
There's that poster that he had in the back.
Yeah.
And then some of the cover girls he did.
Oh man, these are beautiful.
And they capture an era so well. So like,
gives that French 60s psychedelic.
Yeah, exactly. And you can tell by the fashion.
Yep.
You can tell by the layout. I mean, like, look at this, like, Queen of Hearts layout. It's so sick. Yeah. Tell by the shape of the cups.
Yeah.
That kind of retro.
Yeah. The fashion,
cup.
like you were saying, too.
Yeah. Or once in a while, you know, there'll be a roller skater girl in here.
Yeah, there you go.
Karate girl. Yeah, just an amazing book.
Yeah. That's a great one. Yeah, so when I found that, I was like, all right, Shawn.
And you got a good price on it, man, because I mean, I tell you, these like online prices for these, I can't buy them online. They're insane.
Right, yeah.
Online. But if you can find them out in the wild, and like, I'm giving away secrets and I shouldn't, but manga shops don't know how to price art books. Art book shops don't know how to price manga.
Nice,
And
yeah.
this is always something good to know,
It's
you know?
quite telling. I found all that in real time, so.
I picked up an art book too. We're kind of doing a little battle of art books, children's books, and manga here. But Monument for Nothing, Makoto Aida, I found this for restock. I've sold it before. It's an amazing book. And if you don't know Makoto Aida, you probably know this, Mutant Hanako. This was released in France.
Okay.
So there's a French edition out there. So most of my American friends, they have the French edition.
Got it.
It was pretty accessible for a while there, but I think those are also OOP. I can't show you the inside of this because it is dirty, filthy, heta uma. But
I saw it and I can vouch for that, and it is beautiful.
yeah, it's just so wild, man.
Yeah, it's very visceral.
Yeah, I mean, we can show a page that's not too dirty, but
Yeah, and that kind of gives you guys an idea of the style because it's in pencil, super loose, just super jazzy.
But a lot of people don't know that he is an artist of all artists.
Yeah.
He does everything. He does installations. He does contemporary art. He does photography. He does mixed media. He does manga. He does everything.
So, Shawn, how did you discover him? Did you discover him through manga or through art?
Through manga, through Mutant Hanako, and then I was like, he's got to have an art book out there. And then I actually found a different art book. It was an exhibition catalog, and I was like, wait, he's doing like highbrow art.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I got to look more into this. And then I found this book, which is my favorite of all of his art books, because, I mean, you get graffiti mixed media.
That's what I was about to say, yeah. There's a nice graffiti element there to it.
Yeah, and it almost looks like it could be like Cause or something like that. You know what I mean?
Because in America, they would just use like a subway poster and put the flashy aesthetic on top of it. So it has the same language, you know?
For sure. And just happens to be that they replaced that subway advertisement with some 10,000 yen bills.
Right, exactly.
The fine art, you get the more interpretive art.
Yeah, installations. It's almost like as if they took his brain and put it into a book, you know? That's how this whole book feels. So it's there's a lot of pieces in here. It's almost like every page is something new and different.
It seems like he's one of those guys, almost like, like a Basquiat that just couldn't stop.
Yeah,
Just constantly moving his, like putting medium on paper, you know what I mean?
Totally. Did he ever do any animation, Shawn, or would you know?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. I think that he was more of a physical media creator rather than because I've never seen anything that he's done that's really digital other than maybe like photography.
Right.
But even his photography, as we'll see, like this. It's like an installation piece, but it's also like photography.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Yeah, so he's all over the place. In a great way, you know.
Oh yeah, I just love his works, but I always try to keep some of this in stock. I mean, it goes from everything to installation to eroguro to sexy to outright gross.
Yeah,
it's
fun. It's fun.
I was excited that you found one of these. I actually found one of these last month.
Really?
But I sold mine because gotta sell.
Right. We gotta keep the lights on, baby.
This is cool. Look, there's an Innocence
advertisement. It was very confusing when I saw that, but then I was like, okay, I guess that's just of the time. Now, Angel Egg, I actually discovered it. I found a laser disc of it online, and it was really affordable. And so I bought it, and I was like, oh, this is a film anyone can watch. And so it was one of those things where I think it's who's the director? There's the guy who did Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
It's okay. Don't worry about it, Shawn.
Someone's going to say it in the comments.
Yeah.
Someone's going to say it in the comments.
Mamoru Oshii.
Yeah.
That's
Mamoru
it.
Oshii.
So then we have the Angel Egg. And what would this be considered, Shawn?
This is more of a children's book, a picture book. So like an ehon. And Amano did a couple of picture books over his time. But the artwork is distinctly Amano.
Yes.
The story.
Because he did the designs for the film.
And I have to admit that I've never actually read the story.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Every time I get it, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, the art takes over.
The art takes over. But
even in the film, it's a silent film. There's only probably like 3 or 4 sentences in the whole thing.
I got to return the egg.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So when I found this, I originally thought it was just the art book, and then I was pleasantly surprised. So I don't know if this was a re-release or if this comes from a lot of the art design book that he had originally for this, but like something like this was not even in the film, I don't recall. So that's really cool to see.
And a lot of times when you see adaptations of film here, even if the person worked on the film, so like Mochizuki Minataro, he did Isle of Dogs for promotion for the film, the Wes Anderson, and it's not like the movie at all.
Oh, wow, okay.
I mean, it's got aspects from the movie, but it's the characters, but it's a little bit different and it's condensed and it's just its own thing.
Yeah.
It's like not exactly, but it doesn't have to be.
No, not
and
at all.
plus it's a picture book. I mean, it can't be a full-length film.
Right. So then would you say, Shawn, that like this is one to have in the collection and one to own?
For sure, for sure. I mean, Amano's done so many beautiful art books. And I know that you have one from the recent collection that we went to, and then there's a couple of big boy hardcovers that are nice to have, and this is a great one to add to the collection.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where anything Angel Egg you're not gonna find, so you get it when you see it type thing. Yeah, like that right there, right? Come on.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And like exploding, like the sound of exploding.
Oh,
and
nice.
I got a children's book as well while we were out. And I got to be honest, this wasn't while we were out together.
It's okay.
It was when we came back. I'm an addict. I stopped by my local bookstore and I dropped everything off and I was like, I got some time to kill. I'm gonna stop by my local bookstore. And I saw this, and this is Uno Acriax. Of course, the famous illustrator. This is a children's book. This is signed by Uno himself, and I know that the signature is authentic because I've owned probably 4 or 5 signed Uno books. Acriax or Akira Uno is his birth name.
Wow, look at this. This is a special book, Shawn. This is, you have to have an eye to find this because that is so discreet. Like,
If
no
you
one
look at
would
the
know.
outside, no one would know.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Domu 5000 Club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nobody knows.
And so the thing is, to your point earlier, Shawn, where you're saying that you have to stop, like you stopped by your local shop, like I would go into a bookstore, right, and find something or like not find anything, then literally go back the next day and it's all new stuff.
It's all lined up.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could not imagine being Shawn and like the idea of like, so the addiction part, I totally get, and it's like, these books, you're helping the community, so
Well, and that's the
you're
thing
saving
is
them. That's how I feel about it.
I try to support the main shops that I go to, but once in a while, I took Scheme to a shop where he found the Muhammad Ali, right?
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy. Him and our homie Ilstrips Jordan. I hadn't been there for 2 years.
Wow.
It's a little bit further away from the station than the other bookstores I go to in that area.
Yep.
And I just happened I hadn't been there for 2 years. Went in, we all found paper gold.
Wow.
I mean, we all just cleaned up,
Incredible.
Yeah, this is a beautiful children's book, and I mean, like, this is a soft touch of color, and of course, he was a very popular designer, commercial artist for Parco.
Oh, cool.
Along with Harumi Yamaguchi, who did the airbrush stuff, and a number of other famous artists. But he was part of that 60s, 70s crew of Parco designers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, what a great book.
All right, Brian, what else did you get?
All right, brother, check it out. Look
Okay,
what we
this is the
found.
Hokazono Masaya. Like, there's so many people to keep track of,
Dude.
From the 2000s on, basically, he's famous for doing horror manga.
Okay.
So he did a whole bunch of horror manga. He did one that was kind of like it's an island, a bizarre, this like weird horror bizarre island. It's kind of like a Leatherface,
Oh, okay.
Like a crazy family living on the island, just killing people and stuff.
Yep.
Gangsters draw people off on the island, and then they just like tear them
Survive.
apart. And but in the 80s and 90s, he did a lot of fantasy,
Yeah.
and this is one of them.
Yeah, this caught my attention because the cover, and like it went back to like, it felt like a simpler time, where you weren't getting all the flash in manga. And so it felt like unique. You know what I mean, Shawn? So I was really excited to get this one, and having Shawn with you, he'll always know what it is.
Well, I'm telling you, it's like there was so much 90s action and fantasy put out. One, because of the boom of heavy metal magazine. It was popular here too, and people were into Frazetta, and you know, they were into all the artists that were getting put, and not just style, that fantasy art style. 90s was big for horror because you had The Ring, you had The Grudge, you had all these 90s Japanese horror movies, so the manga was following suit. And then it was also big for action because Hokuto no Ken, or Fist of the North Star, was crushing. So you get Battle Kids and all these other weird manga that nobody knows about because they were just trying to emulate. But you also get Hokuzono doing fantasy, not horror, and just mad ink on the page.
Yeah, the quality of the work, there's no frills. It's like discipline. It's just beautiful. So I was really lucky to find this, and it's like one of the few times where like the cover lives up to the interior. Yeah. You know, because sometimes you can be let down.
Oh, a couple times I've gotten rad covers. Like I got one called Reptile Ant Army.
Okay,
cover is amazing.
Yeah,
little teeny reptile ant armies.
Yep, that's an easy hook.
It was a light novel with only about 10, 15 pictures in it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a manga at all.
Yeah, it happens. And so, obviously, this is obvious, but if you guys don't know, when you go to stores and buy the manga, typically it's wrapped. You can't look at it. So it's like a surprise every time you buy one.
I like the spiky-headed dragon action.
Yeah.
You know, little different than a regular dragon.
So, and I'm not a huge fantasy guy, but like I said, this one spoke to me, so I'm glad I got this one, Shawn. Definitely a winner.
Oh, look at that 2-page spread. That's sick. That's beautiful. Yeah, man.
Is this probably just one volume if you had to
yeah, this is a one shot, not part of a series.
Good.
And I think a lot of the stuff that he did, the sci-fi stuff and the fantasy stuff he did were one shots. And then he started getting more into Red Book, Black Book, all these like horror series, which were filled with traditional Japanese folklore, horror stories.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably where his bread and butter is at, you know?
Well, they're popular, man. People love them.
All right, Shawn.
God, I don't know which one to do. Which one do I do?
Let's go with this one. It's on camera, bro.
Yeah, this is Miyanishi Keizo, Golden Mary. I've sold a few of these over. So my customers know about Miyanishi, but if you're into Suehiro Maruo, or if you're into Shintaro Kago, if you're into that kind of eroguro stuff, then you would be definitely into Miyanishi.
That cover, the printing, the saturation, top notch. This is great. Beautiful. Yeah.
It's such a light touch, so whimsical, yet grotesque.
Yeah. That is
erotic
great.
and sometimes violent, but always...
We're getting some Aeon Flux in there.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it. The only thing missing is the eye.
Right, the fly in it. What year is this one from, Shawn?
I believe this one is 89. I want to say 89-ish, around there, but I shall tell you. 82.
Holy cow.
Even earlier than that.
Yeah.
He did a handful of... I'd say that he probably did 10 titles.
Okay.
And was a main contributor to Garo magazine. So he often contributed along with the side, other eroguro artists like Maruo and like Saiki Toshio and these people. Very erotic, but also, a little bit grotesque.
The beauty about this, Shawn, is, and I say this often, but the Japanese with the manga, when you get really deep and past the, superficial stuff that we know as Americans, the design work and the compositions and the ideas are so contemporary and progressive in the sense of like this book like this looks like it was made yesterday.
Yeah,
these ideas and concepts and designs.
Not 40 years ago.
Right, exactly. So, Americans, we got a lot of work to do, guys. Because
like the paneling, of course you had unique paneling back in the day as well too. But
we have our strengths, but
it's like erotic, but she kills the bird with a spatula. And then feels remorse and regret, and she's just like moaning
the
about
storytelling.
What she did.
Yeah.
And she's obviously like in a state of depression, and it's just so deep.
Yeah.
It's just such a deep story.
And like, and this is very visual storytelling. So like, we don't really need to be able to read it to communicate the ideas, So it has a beauty to it.
And that's one reason why Shintaro Kago is so popular, is because he's probably done 60, 70 manga.
Right.
But his manga aren't as popular in the States as his visual art books. You know, because people can look at it and see a story in each piece.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly, yeah.
Girls' heads explooting with candy coming out, or the noodles coming out of her mouth,
Yeah.
and out of her brain into another girl's mouth or something, you know? It's like there's some sort of a visual story going on there. You know?
Totally.
All right,
That's
another one that you got?
All right, Sean, should we do both these? Right
Yeah, the Shirato Sanpei. So this
These
is
are awesome.
So these are part of a series, and the great thing about this series, I actually have most of them in stock right now, but the great things about Savannah, and Nata is there are very few words.
Right.
It's almost like speechless, but it's like a visual story with a little bit of narration and a couple words here and there.
Yeah. And you get a lot of those sensibilities. Oh, come on, that's beautiful. You get a lot of those sensibilities that you would see in a lot of the 70s American stuff with like Barry Windsor Smith, Frank Frazetta, you know, all of those guys. Heavy brushwork with those washes. And like I said, these are all just single stories, so you can pick them up, have the entire story.
Yeah, and all of them are in the same format as part of the Shirato Sanpei Akame Pro. That's his production studio, named after the manga called Red Eye or Akame.
Okay.
Referring to a rabbit's eye.
Oh, cool.
How the rabbit has a red eye. Yeah, so these are pretty accessible. And when you find them out in the wild here, they're usually, I mean, sometimes I'll find them in the 200 yen bargain bin.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I saw a set when I was out, and I didn't catch the price, but it was really affordable. You know, I didn't even consider it. I considered getting it, but, you know, that weight. So, because there's so many, but, you know, just getting one or two, it will suffice the needs.
And if you want to appreciate Shirato Sanpei, RIP, died a couple years ago, 2 years ago now, then these are great one-shots to have without having to buy one of his, like, huge, massive series, you know?
Yeah. And a lot of this, you can just really appreciate and almost, you know, use as study guides, because he does so much different body forms, perspectives, animals, creatures, that it's almost like a reference guide in a lot of ways. So, you know, if you come across these books, they're very attractive. You'll see them, you can spot them in the wild really easily. So definitely I recommend these.
And this one, Savannah, is, of course, early humans living on the savannah.
Yeah.
So it's like how they're hunting and, you know, not a lot of clothes on back then.
Yeah.
You know, trying to survive, betrayal, murder, and some sexy time, and death by some sort of megafauna that I've never seen before.
Yeah, like I said, man, he's just slinging the ink all over the place. So.
Oh, dude, look at those washes.
Yeah, I would love to see an original. You know.
And I've seen Shirato Sanpei originals in person at the auctions, because they'll have them on display at the auctions, but just the prices have been a little bit unattainable for me.
Oh, yeah?
Up to this point. But they do 2 days of displays, pre-auction, Friday, Saturday, and then on Sunday when the auction's held, then, so sometimes I'll go in the day before or a couple days before to take a look at all the art, see how it's framed, see the quality of it, and then go in and bid on the things I want. Just happens to be Shirato Sanpei, a legend.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to, a little bit inaccessible at times.
I was going to ask if he was pretty pervasive or popular.
So I'm just going to do one more, and this is because this is like the grail that I got when we were out together.
Dude, even I was jealous when you grabbed this one,
Dude,
Sean.
I was like, man, I don't know if I should do it. Should I do it?
I was in there watching you.
So there's the box.
Oh.
Yeah, man. So this is Ishinomori Shotaro, another not girls shobo about the famous blind samurai. It's almost like a Zatoichi character, you know, from the 60s and 70s movies. And of course, Beat Takashi famously did a Zatoichi character in the, 2010-ish or something like that. Comes with a little supplemental explaining a bit of the story.
Just look at this layout. This is so thoughtful and considerate.
Yeah, these are limited to, I want to say, 1,500. This one is stamped. 1,250. This is 1,222 out of 1,250. And this one is signed by Ishinomori Shoto. So,
yeah, that is beautiful.
And you get this nice rice. I love it I love a good rice paper in a book.
Dude,
man.
totally. Well, the thing about it, Shawn, with this, there's so much consideration. And these are the kind of books where, like, you can spot them a mile away with, like, the quality. And then when you open it up, it's like a gift every time, even if you've seen it 1,000 times.
And this is it's just an omnibus of a manga. But a beautiful manga, just packed well. These beautiful, like, these calligraphy pages, and the beautiful, like, ink pages. And then you get into, like, a Ronin samurai, blind samurai walking in the rain.
Yeah. So were you familiar with this story and everything, Shawn, before you bought it?
Yes, I've owned the manga before. This is the famous character, and but I've never seen it in this kind of like it's like an exhibition catalog format.
Yeah.
And it was released for an exhibition.
Nice.
So it must have been an exhibition probably based around the release of this series. And it's very self-referential, of course. A little
the discipline, but like the quality. If you guys could, and I know the camera picks it up pretty well, but just the way it's printed on the pages. The grays to the whites to the blacks, everything is perfectly contrasted. You can see every line, all the details. This is an amazing book.
And you can attest as an artist, which I am not, but you get the pattern work, the cross hatching. You go to the next page, you just have this horizontal line work.
Yeah.
And then it's like every panel is into the next panel. Every panel is a different texture.
Exactly.
So they don't blend together. There's like clear contrast between each panel.
Exactly. Yeah. And those nice heavy blacks. So it gives you that nice film quality.
So you go from heavy black to like it's going to go to a shot outside. So it's like a good cut point. You know what I mean? And then we're outside.
Yeah. Yeah. This is great.
Yeah, this is a beautiful book.
And so, Shawn, is this one available?
This one is available. I actually bought this for myself, but I'm like, holiday season coming up. It's a rare book. I should probably be out here selling books, not just collecting them.
Well, we'll see how it goes, right, bro?
Well, what I did was I put it up on JapanBookHunter.com where I sell my books. And if somebody buys it, they buy it. If they don't, I shall enjoy it a little bit longer, my friend.
No worries. I love it. Shawn, we were at a small bookshop. And I think we found this one in almost not necessarily a clearance bin, but it was really,
it was pretty bargain binny.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have the movie poster, I have all the series, I have the magazine format, I have the tankobon format, I have it all.
Yeah.
Because I love The Bodyguard Tusk. It's Karate Hell is the series. They did Karate Hell, New Karate Hell, The Bodyguard Tusk. This Kiba is like Fang or Tusk. Tusk is I'd say Fang.
Okay.
But same thing. And it's about a dude that does karate like a mofo. I mean, he can karate it up, dude. And like I said, they made this into a bunch of like 70s movies.
Yep.
They made this series into a bunch of manga series. And I believe there's even an anime at one time, like a TV show anime.
Nice. Now, this would be perfect for a video game. Do we know of any video games, Shawn?
No, not that I know of. But I mean, really, it's kind of like, it's like the karate guy that gets he gets tied up with Yakuza, with like bad government actors, with like other countries, like spies. He just kind of fights, he really gets into it with everyone. And there's some sexy parts, there's some violent parts, and there's a whole bunch of, we had to skip that part.
Right.
The booties.
Right.
And, some gambling and a whole lot of karate.
Yeah, this is a great gem. And it's one of those things where the buy-in's so affordable that, you're only going to get good stuff out of it. So,
and I believe this series, I'm going to say, because there's a bunch of series, it's hard to remember. This one's probably got like 9 or 10 volumes.
Okay.
But they're all single one-shot stories, almost like, like James Bond is an overarching character, but each Bond movie or book is its own story, right? So it's the same for The Bodyguard Tusk.
Yeah.
Of course, in this one, he's a bodyguard. In Karate Hell, sometimes he's just randomly out fucking dudes up. But like this dude's hands explode. Dang.
Yeah.
His bones are sticking out of his hands.
Pretty gnarly. Yeah, this is sick. Yeah, I'm really glad I got this one. It's one of those ones where You feel like you're a part of the club now?
Yo, dude. And you know, the homie Schemes got some of these.
Of course he does.
of
My
course he does.
main brother and my adversary at the same time. Anytime he gets something, I have to scope it and be like, yo, Scheme, what you get there, bro?
Yeah, actually, I found out about this series. I'd seen it around and I always wondered what it was. And then my buddy Johnny Ryan, he's like, oh, our friend Japanese Avant-Garde Books sent me a couple of the magazines in my order. And I was like, show me a picture of these magazines. And I'm like, yep, those are the ones. And I'm like,
Hell
is there
yeah.
a lot of karate? He's like, yeah. Is a lot of sex? Yeah. A little bit of wrestling? Yeah. I'm in. And I
Yes.
started hunting down everyone I could find, you
Hell
know?
yeah. Hell yeah.
So, yeah, you get a little bit of everything in there. And that,
Beautiful.
my fine friends, was some of our great haul over our Jimbocho run.
Yeah, which is great. Shawn, thank you for taking me out and doing the damn thing, man.
This is the way we do, my brother.
Hell
this
yeah.
is the way we do.
Hell yeah, bro.
All right, guys.
Take it easy.
Matere.
All right, everybody, thanks for watching another show. I'm filthy, I've been packing books all day, but I'm doing this just for you, my friends, in JapanBookHunter.com. That's where we sell all of our rare, weird, and wild manga, art books, etc. So hop on over there. And of course, Japan Book Hunter on Instagram, TikTok, all the social media. That's where you can find more of our paper gold, my friends. Until next time, matane.